Hello and welcome to another one of D's ADD videos. Today we're going to be looking at radicals. First half is going to be numerical operations, and we'll throw in some letters towards the end. Here with radicals, basically what we're going to do here is first look at taking a square root. If I had the square root of 50, for instance, what would I do there? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to split that number up into the largest perfect square that divides into that number, in this case 50, and times what's left. If you don't know how to get a list of perfect squares, just do 1 times 1. That'll give you one perfect square. Then the next one's 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and keep on going. Okay. In this case, when you get to 5 times 5, that's 25, and that's in this list. And divides into 50 twice. So we separate it into root 25 times root 2. And then you just take the square root of the 25, and you get 5 root 2. Okay. So always just look for a perfect square and pull it out. Now, if it was a cube root, if that was a 3, you would look for a perfect cube. So 1 times 1 times 1, 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times 3 times 3, and then pull those out and mimic the process that way. Adding and subtracting square roots. All right, so the only ones you can really add and subtract are when these numbers are the same. Okay, anytime that's a root 3, then you can combine the terms in front, and the root 3's don't change. So in this case, 4 minus 2 would be 2 times root 3. This would be 2 plus an understood 1 there is 3 root 5. These two, because they're not the same under the square root, under the radical, or these two, you cannot do your combining of those terms. So make sure the perfect squares have been pulled out first, and then combine the like terms as I just showed you. Okay. If we're multiplying and dividing, what you want to do for multiplication first is pull out the perfect squares. After you pull out the, you don't want to go 24 times 27. That's a huge number. So let's break it down into numbers we can deal with. I know 24 is 4 times 6, and 4 is a perfect square. So I can take the square root of this 4, and it becomes 2. And then the square root of this 9, and then it becomes 3. Okay? And then at that point, when you do the multiplication, you multiply the coefficients. 2 times 3 is 6, and then root 6 times root 3 is root 18. Now, because we multiplied these two together, there might be a new perfect square, and sure enough there is. A 9 shows up in there because 18 is 9 times 2. So we can take the square root of the 9 and get 3. So as a result, we get 18 root 2. Alright? So that's basically it for multiplications. Pull out the perfect squares, multiply the coefficients, the radicals, pull out perfect squares again. Now for division, what you want to do is you want to cancel any common factors that might be. Let's bring it down to small, easy numbers if we can. Okay? Notice that both of these numbers have a root 6 common, and the root 6's will cancel, and you'll be left with root 7 over root 8. Because we don't like radicals in the denominator, we can rationalize, but before we rationalize, let's pull out that perfect square of a 4, because 8 is 4 times 2, and then that becomes 2 root 2. And anytime I want to get rid of the square root of something, you multiply by the square root of the same thing. So in this case, it would be 2 root 2 times 2 root 2 is 4. Square rooted becomes this 2 right here. And then if you do something at the bottom, you do it to the top as well. And 2 times 7 is root 14. And the only thing left to do is just multiply those two 2's down on the bottom to get root 14 over 4. Okay? And that's basically it with radicals multiplying. So you might be asked to FOIL stuff out, or combine like terms, or whatever it is. If you keep these basic rules in mind, then you should be fine as far as the numerical aspect of things. For letters, I'm going to make a separate video for letters, just not to overload you guys with too much information at once. Practice the numerical part, and then we can look at the one that has to do with letters as well. All right? I hope this has clarified any confusion you might have. Practice, practice, practice. Thank you, and have a nice day.